Elissa Kalver, welcome to WeCan. Our role model of today, Elissa, leads with her cancer journey and how she made something really amazing out of it, something really useful. That is a non-for-profit gift registry called We Got This to support cancer thrivers everywhere. It's the world's first gifting service geared to cancer patients and caregivers, and you redefine giving and receiving during difficult times so patients and their families receive gifts they actually need and want. Elissa, I love this idea. I'm so excited to have you. Thank you for being with me and thank you for telling your story. So,
Yeah.
tell us about this journey that led you to where you are today. What are the pivotal points? Tell us about that.
Well, for what what you just mentioned, and thank you for the great intro and for having me. In terms of the gift registry for cancer patients, I realized that that was a gap in how we help each other through hard times. When I was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer a little over 4 years ago. And it was so wonderful that I had so much love and support, but it seemed really hard to facilitate that and to know what
Mhm.
I needed. And it wasn't all that long before that I was using a baby registry,
Yeah.
and years back using a wedding registry. And that's where this idea came from, but it's grown to so much more than just a gift registry. It's really, I like to think of it as a movement and an evolution in how we give and receive in the hard times. And not just physical gifts, but support, how we reach out. And it's hard to know what's best because we're all so unique and different. And I think ultimately I realized that the best way to know is just to ask and empower people to be able to make asking easier as well.
Yeah. Elissa, I have a friend right now who is on this journey. She's the caregiver to her child who has cancer. And it's really hard, even if you're really close friends, to know and to rally around and to know what to do. So talk to us about this cancer journey that you've been through and maybe the things that helped you most.
A huge part of it is understanding that we're all just so different.
Mhm.
So, things that might be exactly what someone else needs or wants might be totally different from another person. And what people are going through, what type of treatments they have, the type of cancer can vary so drastically
Yeah.
that, ways of support might be not as relevant for some as for others. So the biggest thing that I've really learned is, expect the unexpected with most
Mhm.
of this.
Mhm.
And one thing that we can all do is support each other. And so rather than trying to, relate or completely understand, being able to empathize and just kind of be there for someone for what they need. I like to say it reminds me of like parenting tips. Like if I was talking to my 5-year-old and she was upset about something, being like, do you want me to fix this? Like, do you want a solution to this? Or do you just need to like cry it out?
Mhm.
And sometimes we just need to have permission to feel what we feel. And how that to me relates to the gift giving is there's a lot of things that are more stereotypical, like what you would expect from a cancer experience, like wigs and barf bags and more medical type things.
Yeah.
But there's also human elements that are so important that I think we sometimes overlook, not only as the gift giver, but also as the patient, because we're kind of like, well, everyone's helping me because I'm sick and all of this. But having those times, sometimes shorter than others in between treatments or surgeries or whatever it is that someone's going through to feel normal, like,
Mhm.
to give them a date night, to, do things that are more fun. We do a lot of initiatives with like Lego flowers, like these roses here,
Yeah.
championship belts, like morale and getting to feel like you're living and thriving is a big part of that for me too. And so really exploring what that looks like from a community aspect and how we support each other was what I think we've dissected the most. And I think it's led to some really amazing results of people feeling more supported and supporters not feeling like outsiders and feeling like they can be there and make a difference too.
Elissa, so talk to us about We Got This. How did it start? Where are you at now? How many products do you have? Give us a real overview of what people can expect when they go on your website.
Yeah, so we just evolved quite a bit over the past few months. Really, this year we experienced a large growth spurt. So the registry was created about 3 years ago, and that was our initial kind of launch as a MVP product, minimal viable product, see how it works, and it's really worked great. A lot of aspects to it. It's a custom system and platform, and that was really important to me because I didn't want it to just be another Amazon wish list or something through one vendor. Like you can still
Yeah.
register for things on Amazon or anywhere else, but you can also add custom stuff off Etsy or things on a specific website. So being able to add anything from anywhere was very important. I also found it really important that people can still give money, like a GoFundMe. So you still
Mm,
have those options of how you want to support someone. The page just feels a little bit more like a social media profile, rather than feeling like it's just charity. But the piece too on that is like we do that for babies and weddings already. So when people
yeah.
sometimes earlier on, I don't hear it as much anymore, but earlier on in this idea a few years ago, I, hear from fellow patients and friends like, I'm really comfortable asking someone for a wig, right? But I'm
Mm,
not very comfortable asking for like going to a concert, or I feel guilty if
yeah.
I feel okay this week.
Mm,
And it's like, man, wouldn't our supporters want to know that they're a part of maybe those couple days in between the hell that you're going through to be able to support you? So that's a big part of it. But in addition to the registry, we've really expanded out a resource directory,
mhm.
which has hundreds of other nonprofits and totally free resources that people can use. But the part that was really important to me was making it very customized in the filters. So if you need financial support or you're looking for retreats, if you're a previver versus a survivor, whatever point of the process, local versus national. There's all of these options to filter it. And we're working on a lot of initiatives going into 2026 on more ways that we can help with our own resources too. We've added, guides on explaining what to say and not to say to cancer patients
I
or,
find that
you know,
so important.
exactly, yeah. And for hearing it from other thrivers too. We have what we call thriver lists, and you can, take a look at what type of cancer someone else had and what products comforted them most during
Yeah.
that time. So all of this aspect of the community is so important. And then another aspect is we were always kind of using affiliate marketing with some of our brand partners. And being a very small nonprofit with really just me full time here, it's to be also influencing affiliate codes and explaining to people how that all works and making sure that they use the code and then purchase that time. It wasn't a hugely successful model for what we're doing. So we just were able to migrate to Shopify Collective.
Hmm.
And within the past few months, we've added over 1,000 products that are
Wow.
located on wegotthis.org in our recommendation shop. The each product donates back about 30 to 50% to We Got This's mission, which is really just a wholesale percentage that would go to marketplace anyway, but this one happens to be all towards what we're doing to support the cancer community. So it's exciting to have that now, even though you can register for anything anywhere. We're putting in the time and effort to separate it by maybe what symptom you're having, what type of treatment you're in, and
Mm.
also throwing in things that are just fun. And it doesn't have to be a shop just for someone with cancer. It's if you shop there just for anything, it helps out our mission and funding, hopefully quite a bit. It's a new model that I'm hoping will help sustain us.
Yeah, amazing, Elissa. So, what will success look like for you?
Being able to continue doing this is my success in terms of for the nonprofit. It's the kind of thing that we've been so fortunate of how people have understood it and realized that we were filling a need. And we've grown this year from 1,600 users at the beginning of the year to here we are, not even through the year, and we're over 12,000 users. So
Amazing.
just this year alone, the growth has been enormous
Yeah.
and again are still small. So my hope is that I can continue to sustain building this up. It's been a lot of fundraising, a lot of work, but I love it and enjoy it so much, and it's my life's mission. And so that's the goal on the professional side there.
Elissa, so talk to us a little bit about what your experience was. What were the things that really helped you? And maybe talk a little bit about those things that one should say and shouldn't say, because I think that, I'm in my mid 50s and I've
Mhm.
been, running a charity and I've been dealing with many people in my life, and I come up to my limitations every single time when I'm faced with those type of realities. Because as
Yeah.
I don't know how, as a humanity, we got so far away from the things that really matter.
Yes, and I'm glad you said it in that way because that's really where I've kind of taken my thought leadership too, is this whole idea of live like it matters. So from starting this, going through this process, I started talking more about it, and being asked to talk about it,
Mm,
particularly in October to start because of being Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
yeah,
But really, my mission, what I'm doing is for all types of cancer, and it's really for all people, to live
yeah.
like it matters. So I've been doing more professional keynote speaking. I published my first book in June called We Got This: How I Learned to Thrive with Terminal Cancer. And really leaning in on this idea, I recently started a podcast called Live Like It Matters. And what's helped me the most is being able to embrace the parts of me that want to live and thrive and not diminishing what I'm capable of or what I should
Mm,
be doing simply because I have cancer. And there are times where there are limitations, of course, but I don't want to minimize my life down to a survival, just
yeah.
surviving or existing, staying alive. Like that wasn't my goal before cancer, and it's not fair for that to be my goal with cancer. And I think that it's so unintentional that we do that for ourselves and for others because I've done that
Mm,
where someone I love was sick or had cancer and treatment's working, and you don't really care about anything else because that wasn't, I didn't think about the other repercussions of how that felt on the person. I thought about, oh my God, I'm so grateful that it's working,
yeah.
and they're still here. But I've been on treatments that have made me feel like I wasn't living.
Mm,
And that's when I spoke up and advocated to make changes. And I know understandably that a lot of people are afraid to do that. It's scary. We don't have all the options in the world
mm,
all the time.
yeah.
But I really feel like we deserve to take the time and effort and the people around us to live like it matters and to thrive. And that could be something as small as getting someone a squishmallow off their registry that they use every time they're in the chemo chair and they think
Mm,
about it, and how they feel supported. And that could be as big as writing a book or starting a nonprofit, and everything in between. And so, what really helped me the most was my community and the people surrounding me understanding what I needed, not necessarily what they would do, but what I would needed to do. And I'm grateful, especially to my husband, because in my fifth round of chemo, when I told him I wanted to start a nonprofit, it was very on brand for who I am. But but it's a lot. And I definitely had friends and family being like, can you just take care of yourself?
yeah.
And I write about it in my book and I talk about it quite a bit that they realized quickly that this is how I take care of myself. And the definitions are different for all of us. And I think it's so important that we meet ourselves where we're at and the
Mm.
people that love us allow us to do that too.
Elissa, and were you always really sure about, this? I mean, obviously the purpose came to you because you were in this position.
It it was really this life-altering change that brought about this kind of clarity. But
Mm,
a lot of what it all stems from and the way that I am and my personality was how I always have been.
yeah.
And I think that when you end up having some kind of life-altering diagnosis, I just became more of an amplified version of that.
Mm.
And the areas that maybe I, would have thought more twice about or things like that, I became more unapologetic about. And I've always been a bit that way. Like when I graduated from college, I booked a one-way ticket to LA from Boston, and I've been here 16 years since.
Amazing.
And I think back to that time, and it was like the greatest thing ever. I just made the move, and it was kind of like, what's the worst thing?
Mm.
I go back, and obviously the stakes are higher when you're treating cancer, but with the idea of how I was going to put my pain into purpose and find the silver lining. What's the worst thing? Like we help a bunch of people, and we've been able to help and grow so much more than I ever could have imagined. It really evolved so much uh, in such amazing ways, and I want to keep doing that. But I just think back to these times in my life where I've taken chances and not everything works out perfectly, but I don't think I would change any of it. And so I
Mm.
don't regret anything. And that's where it's like, why would I be any different or less of that when time matters more than ever?
Yeah. Elissa, so what do you feel are your sort of main challenges with all of this? I mean, you do so much. You got the gift registry, you got the podcast, you've written the book. How do you reframe the challenges that you face?
I look at things like the book, my speaking, even the nonprofit work, all as things that like they're such a gift to me. Like I enjoy doing it so much, and if I didn't enjoy like the podcast, for instance, then I just wouldn't do it. You know, but I love the recording and those things. And when there's certain aspects of something that maybe I'm not enjoying as much, then that's when I look to pivot or see if it doesn't need to be there. Like if I wasn't enjoying doing a podcast, then I absolutely would not do it.
Yeah.
And that's a little different where I'm not doing things in my life that I feel like I have to hit the next step or some
Mm.
other phase or make money from, because that's probably the least of what I've done over the past few years. What I've really done is leaned into those aspects of what I love most. And then overlapped with that, of course, I love being a mom. I love being a wife and all these things, but that's the part that is ultimately that's not replaceable. That's, non-negotiables that are the most important parts of my life. And so the way that I try to be so deliberate and intentional with how we balance all of that is so important to me because I don't view it as, my 5-year-old daughter, she was turning 1 when I was diagnosed.
Yeah.
And, you know, luckily I don't think I'm dying tomorrow, and if I was given like a week or something left to live, yeah, I would spend every second just smothering her. But that's not where I'm at, right?
Yeah.
And I love her seeing me doing what I do. And we have so much quality, we call it girl time together and family time, of course. But a big part now of like how I value being a mom and how my daughter sees me is in the work that I also do, which makes it that much more fulfilling. Like it's so exciting when I can show her parts of a podcast episode that my husband and I recorded together, you
Mhm.
know, or when I've gone to have certain articles or news segments and she gets to see mommy on TV or these things. And she sees videos from when I was bald and remembers through that and her memory. But she knows all the elements that have happened. So if I do lose my hair again, if I ultimately do die from cancer, I want her to always know how much I lived with it.
Mm.
And I feel confident that that's where I found the best balance in that makes everything else really worth it.
Elissa, you are amazing, and thank you for shining so bright because you ooze this incredible optimism
Thank you.
and hope that comes through the actions that you're taking, right? Which I think is so unbelievably visible in your journey, but most people that I interview who live with those challenges in their lives, and often it is cancer. And whenever they take action or actionable steps towards the things that they really stand for, they turn this challenge or this pain or this illness into something where you not only improve your life, but you also improve the lives of many other people, which is incredible. Are there some tips you can give to caregivers?
One, the whole put your oxygen mask on first is really important, and nobody wants to do it because they all want to
Mm,
be, there and strong for people, or, other people have reactions, of course, of feeling like they need to run away or whatever that might be. The caregiver is the invisible patient, and there's so many elements to caregiving and supporting someone going through something like cancer that are not as studied and not as put on the forefront because all the attention is, understandably on the person going through it.
yeah.
But making sure that you're taking care of yourself too, because without you having your tank recharged or, refilled, the person that you love isn't going to be able to get all of you. And then, on the other side of that, it really depends, of course, the situation. My main caregiver is my husband, and just we've always, of course, valued communication, but now more than ever, it's just so important that along the way, over the past 4 years of having cancer, it has been drastically different depending on what treatment I'm on, what side effects I have, whether I'm more or less fatigued. And we're constantly having to ebb and flow with what types of home responsibilities each of
Mm,
us are doing and how we divide up parenting. And it's not linear, and that's hard. And I think when you're a caregiver and you're trying to support someone going through a hard time, know that uh, we see you too, and know that you're going through a hard time also,
yeah.
and making sure that you take the help from all the people around who are trying to give it where you feel comfortable. And that's where I think the registry can also be just so helpful, where it's
Mm,
not everyone messaging your caregiver, the person closest to you, of what you need. They can just send a link or just
yeah.
search you on our website. And I think, really facing it as a team, as the we, that's why it's we got this, is so critical in all of it.
Yeah, I think so too. I hear this all the time. Then there's 25 bunches of flowers in 1 week, and it looks a little bit as if someone's actually passed away, and that's not helpful. Or,
Yes.
people bring food and or see or send 3 cakes on a weekend, and who's gonna eat that? And yeah, I just think it's super neat what you came up with. What would you say are your main learnings in being this entrepreneur that, goes out into the world with your registry and your podcast and your book and, all the things that you do for people to ultimately be guided and helped and supported?
I think in all cases, we're just the idea that we're better together just is what always has followed me. Even in my normal career, when I worked in financial services, I partnered constantly, and that was how I would generate business and referrals and all of that. And how I've always kind of viewed my career, my life is as you look at kind of project managing it, you figure out where your strengths and weaknesses are and where you can fill in the people around you to make all of us that much better. Whether it's my husband and I working as a team at home, or it's working with our web developer and our social media manager and other things within the nonprofit to make sure that we're spreading messages about upcoming events or, getting more people to understand how to use the registry and resources that we have. I just think that when we work together, that's not only the way that we make a bigger impact and accomplish more, but it's way more fun. And
Definitely.
coming into the nonprofit space originally, being very new to it, it's understandable that everyone's trying to get funding. Everyone is working hard. We're going through hard times too, and so many unprecedented things that we're all navigating. But I've never collaborated or worked with another organization or another person and felt like I lost something from it. I
Yeah.
always gained more than I could have on my own. And I really think that if we start by living like it matters, we focus on the idea of making as much impact in our lifetime as we can, then everything else falls into place and makes sense.
Yeah, you said that so beautifully.
Thank you.
I mean, it's like we're done here with this beautiful sentence. Elissa, how can we support you? How can people support you now?
Right now, the way you can support is twofold because it depends on who you are and what you need from us too. If you are a fellow cancer patient, thriver, survivor, previvor, however you identify, and you're in this cancer community, I really hope that wegotthis.org can be helpful for you. Whether it's at the point where you're comfortable making a registry and everyone's messaging you asking how they can help and we can make it easier for you, or it's taking a look at the guides we've created, the thriver lists, the things that we're building out in the community. We want you to be a part of it, and in knowing that we're doing all of this to make sure that we can recognize everyone going through a cancer experience. And so any way that we can support through that, that's what it's here for. On the supporter donor side, it's really me, who has with a team of awesome part-time contractors and former employees going through fundraisers and peer-to-peer fundraising and all these things. We haven't gotten major grants or other, windfalls of funding. And I love that it's been this giant community of the we making this all happen and come together. But I try to explain to people like Babylist doesn't function for free. Like they have a huge corporation and team.
Exactly.
And in order for us to continue to grow and service all these people the way that they deserve to be, we need to continue funding and expanding the site and its capabilities and to continue doing all the joy boosts and things that we do with Lego flowers and championship belts, and we've done a lot of magic initiatives, just making people feel seen in the community. So that's a long-winded way of asking for money, but but in any form that feels right, whether it's just shopping on a recommendation shop. If you're going to be buying things online anyway, it helps us out huge. It's up to 50% of your purchase is going to help our mission.
Yeah.
Whether it's a direct donation, whether you have a company that might be able to sponsor an event or a portion of our website, or if it's a service or something that you do that you think could benefit our community, please never hesitate to reach out.
Amazing. Elissa, so tell us about your plans and goals. I know it's Giving Tuesday next week. I know you have an event planned then. What are your plans and goals for the rest of the year and next year?
Yeah. Well, so if this is airing before Giving Tuesday, then the biggest ask I have right now is it's $20 to join our live stream comedy show called Cancer is a Joke on Giving Tuesday. The live stream will be available on demand through the entire month of December and the rest of the year. And it's going to be hilarious and fun and awesome. I keep, prefacing that it's not that we're laughing at cancer, it's that we're laughing despite cancer.
Yeah.
And we deserve joy and laughter and smiles through the hard times too.
Yeah.
So if you can donate the $20 and celebrate with us, that really would mean a lot. We're live streaming through Veeps. You can see the link right at wegotthis.org. There's a banner on the top that says, to access the live stream. Going to be a ton of fun. I actually planned the event with four fellow cancer thrivers who all happen to be professional comedians. My friends Julia Johns, Grace Helbig, Julia Rozzi, and Annie Bond. And then we have some other really fun guests that people are going to want to check out.
Amazing. So, what takeaways would you like our listeners to have from your story, Elissa?
Biggest things are that I want you to live like it matters, whether you have a life-altering disease or not, whether it's cancer or something else. We all go through hard times, unfortunately, but fortunately, I think it's what brings us together more too. And we deserve to always feel like we can live like it matters. I also want everyone to know that they can ask and receive help, and it's not, shouldn't be uncomfortable. It shouldn't feel selfish or in any way, you know, out of the norm of how it does in the good times. So let's really normalize that and please use the registry if it would be helpful for you. And overall, just letting people know that while the nonprofit is focused in cancer, because I always got reminded by friends that Amazon started selling books and, can't
Mm,
always help every single person with every single thing at the beginning. But I believe that we're building a foundation to hopefully a big picture. But unfortunately, everyone is affected by cancer, whether it's,
yeah.
directly or indirectly. And I've seen the power of empowering that community to
Mm,
be able to have a voice and speak up in ways that might be different from what we typically see.
yeah.
You know, I'm big on how my chemo and treatments have kept me alive, and it's my community and family and the nonprofit that keeps me living. And the things are both equally as important. And I hope that people feel that with whatever it is that you're facing in life, because we all deserve it.
I mean, amazing, Elissa. You are amazing. I'm so inspired by you.
Thank
I
you.
want everyone to go to wegotthis.org because each one of us knows someone who is affected by cancer. And if it's not cancer, it's another illness. So go and register, use the registry, give the $20 next week to have a laugh during the month of December. Give money if you can because this is a really worthy cause. And what do you do, the listener, to really live like it matters? And Elissa, thank you for being such an amazing role model for exactly that.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you having me.